continues to call the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, Governor of Canada. I'm curious what he means by that, and if there are any plans that are moving forward with trying to make Canada the 51st state. And I have a follow-up on the economy as well.
Sure. Well, the president put that in his True Social account, or his True Social post earlier today. He feels strongly that it would be very beneficial for the Canadian people to be the 51st state of the United States. They wouldn't be paying for these tariffs. They'd have much lower taxes if they were part of our great country.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau cries on national TV after a tough phone call with President Donald Trump. One prime minister from Canada calls for a nuclear alliance to use against the United States. Democrats continue to embarrass themselves, this time with a viral cringe video. And Hunter Biden is in financial troubles as he says he allegedly owes millions of dollars. Now, if you guys appreciate the daily news updates, please take a second and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I got all of that and more in today's video. So let's go ahead and get started with Canada, shall we?
So there's been more than a 2,000% increase in illegal fentanyl seizure at the northern border. Why? Because Canada is allowing that fentanyl to come to the United States. The president sees these numbers. He thinks about the lives that are lost. And everybody in this room, I'm sure, everybody watching at home, everybody across the country knows someone in our lives who has been killed at the hands of this deadly poison. There needs to be repercussions for that. The president feels very strongly about it.
Caroline, respectfully, it's just 43 pounds that were found last year. That's less than a carry-on suitcase. Is that a lot of fentanyl compared to, say, Mexico, where the vast majority of the fentanyl is brought in through Mexico, not Canada? So what else does Canada need to do?
Well, I just told you, last year alone, there was a 2,000% increase in illegal fentanyl.
But it's only 43 pounds,
You're asking me for what the president's justification is for these tariffs. It's not up to you. You're not the president, Gabe. And frankly, I think it's a little bit disrespectful to the families in this country who have lost loved ones at the hands of this deadly poison. If you talk to them, and this president has, they are grateful that they finally have a president who is standing up to both Canada and Mexico. And
It's kind of weird how these journalists downplay drugs that have literally killed thousands upon thousands of Americans. And while there has been some progress with Canada when it comes to that, it's still not enough. Should Canada be held accountable for the fentanyl crisis, or is this just another media cover-up? Type "hold Canada accountable" if you think Justin Trudeau needs to step up and stop this crisis now, or "media lies" if you believe that the media is just downplaying the truth to protect the elites. Let me see where everybody stands on that one. So President Trump, he went on Truth Social to confirm this, sharing how Canada's prime minister is asking what they could do to avoid these tariffs. In his post, he says, "Justin Trudeau of Canada called me to ask what could be done about tariffs. I told him that many people have died from fentanyl that came through the borders of Canada and Mexico, and nothing has convinced me that it has stopped. He said that it's gotten better, but I said that's not good enough." The call ended in a somewhat friendly manner. He was unable to tell me when the Canadian election is going to be taking place, which had me curious, like, what's going on here? I then realized he's trying to use this issue to stay in power. Good luck, Justin. Trudeau spoke to the press after this talk wherein he was moved to tears.
On a personal level, I've made sure that every single day in this office, I put Canadians first, that I have people's backs. And that's why I'm here to tell you all that we got you. Even in the very last days of this government, we will not let Canadians down today and long into the future. Because in the past few weeks, we've been working with our provincial and territorial partners to make sure that families can rely on this system, not just for years to come, but will allow this system to lock in, to become something that no government, a year from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now, could ever go back on. And it's hard to do, because there is nothing one government can't do that can't be undone by the following government. Unless Canadians are very clear on the need to keep this going.
Now, it does seem like President Trump has a point here. There's a possible political upside to what Justin Trudeau is doing, and it could help him win. And it prompted another post from the president on Truth Social, but this one reads, quote, "Believe it or not, despite the terrible job that he's done for Canada, I think that Justin Trudeau is using the tariff problem, which he has largely caused, in order to run again for prime minister. So much fun to watch, end quote. And the competition over in Canada, it's getting heated because one of them is suggesting that we're bullying them and that nuclear deterrence may be needed. Now, I'm gonna get to that in just a second, but I want you to hear what our Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent had to say about these tariffs with Canada. Watch.
As President Trump has said many times, tariff is his favorite word. I would say that reciprocal is probably his second favorite word. And I think we have to be open to the idea, if you want to be a numbskull like Justin Trudeau and say, oh, we're going to do this, then tariffs are going to go up. But if you want to sit back, have a discussion with the Commerce Department, USTR, they all have my phone number too. I am happy to have a discussion with our foreign counterparts that says that here's what we think you were doing. And the tariffs are the actual easy part. Because we know India does this on U.S. motorcycles. Germany does this or EU does this on American cars. That's a quantitative number.
So it's pretty clear that many people think that Justin Trudeau is making a huge mistake with these tariffs. And it's probably why he's doing his best to paint himself in a strong light, with other candidates putting on a very strong opposition to what he's doing. Although I think that this candidate takes the cake, as she suggests that they need a nuclear alliance, especially with what's happening between our countries. And by takes the cake, I'm talking about being a numbskull.
The U.S. is turning predator. And so what Canada needs to do is work closely with our democratic allies, our military allies. I've been foreign minister. I know how to do that. That's why I would start with our Nordic partners, specifically Denmark, which is also being threatened, and our European NATO allies. I would be sure that France and Britain were there, who possess nuclear weapons. And I would be working urgently with those partners to build a closer security relationship that guarantees our security in a time when the United States can be a threat.
Can somebody tell her that her country is the third largest importer of military weapons from the United States? And it's crazy that she's talking about NATO partners aiming nuclear weapons at the US. All of this is helping Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party, which might explain why he wanted this trade war from the beginning. And I have to note that this situation with Mexico, it's very different. In a post on Truth Social, the president acknowledged that Mexico will not be required to pay tariffs on anything that falls under the USMCA agreement. So this agreement is until early April. He says he's doing it out of respect. That and the fact that Mexico is working with the US to stop illegal immigrants from entering our country, which includes the stopping of fentanyl. So Trudeau's asking what he can do to stop this tariff war when he already understands what needs to be done. He's doing all of this so as to remain in power. At least that's what the optics are telling us. Now moving on, guys, Democrats don't seem to be too concerned about their image these days. And it looks like they don't want to win for like the next 20 years or so. A viral cringe video was recently released where Democrats are seen in fighting poses. Now, I'm not really sure which demographic they're trying to reach here. Some have said that they're targeting gamers here because, you know, this is based on a classic video game, but I think it's pretty safe to say that they're not doing themselves any favors in terms of popularity. Now, speaking of which, Hunter Biden seems to have dug himself into quite a hole here. His art isn't selling as much nowadays, and his funds are all dried up.
Hunter Biden asked a judge to dismiss a lawsuit he brought against one of the top disseminators of his laptop's data, saying he no longer has the financial resources to continue litigation. Hunter Biden said in court filings he had, quote, significant debt in the millions of dollars range, and the Pacific Palisades wildfires rendered his rental home uninhabitable for an extended period of time. Biden said he could not continue with expensive court activity despite believing in the merits of his case. Hunter Biden sued Garrick Ziegler and his company Marco Polo in September 2023, calling Ziegler a, quote, zealot who has waged a sustained, unhinged, and obsessed campaign against the Biden family. Hunter Biden alleged that Ziegler illegally hacked into and tampered with his computer data. Biden's laptop and hard drive became a source of scrutiny because of the salacious and damning material that the FBI, political operatives, and eventually the media uncovered.
This is strange news given that we know he made a lot of money over in Ukraine. He was also selling his paintings for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I wonder why people suddenly lost interest in his art. He says that the last painting that he sold was priced at $36,000, and that was back in late 2023. His memoir also isn't selling well since book sales have dropped like a rock, which begs the question, besides corruption, what made this guy tick? There was absolutely nothing of merit that can be connected to him. And as far as we know, he'll forever be known as Joe Biden's son, aka a freaking loser and a coke addict, and the list goes on and on and on. Now, with that guy out of the White House, it's not surprising to see that Hunter's cash flow has suddenly stopped. But what do you guys think about Hunter? Now, I want to redirect you guys to a recent live stream that I did. I covered Ukraine's Zelensky and how he's completely fumbled his relationship with the United States and President Trump. Make sure you guys check that out, as it affects a lot of us. As always, appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you next time.